Another chance for another chance. I am your host, Devin Long, and welcome back to the Down South Bills podcast. This is episode 11, and today I'll be discussing the Bills at the Broncos. A huge playoff game. Loser goes home in the divisional round. Bills coming off a massive win over Jacksonville, and Broncos coming off extra rest. Let's get into the matchups, the key concerns, and at the end, my final score prediction. So let's get right into it. The Bills offense versus the Broncos defense. The Bills are the number four total offense with 376.3 yards a game, 28 points a game, and the number one rushing offense. The Broncos have the number two total defense, allowing 278 yards a game, 18 points a game, and the number two rushing defense. But I know they say numbers don't lie, and I'm one of the ones who say that. But I mean, their rushing defense, I mean, it lies just a tad bit. They haven't really went up against any dynamic run games, and I don't know. They have a small defensive front, as I'll say when we get into that part of it. But the pass rush is absolutely legit. They get home fast. I am a little bit concerned as far as like them getting home fast, but with Josh Allen's size and those rushers being a little bit on the smaller end, he may be able to escape a couple of those sacks. I mean, who knows? Secondary is strong. They have Pat Surtain, of course, defensive player of the year type guy, all pro type guy, all Pro Bowler type guy, just an extremely good corner. And Pat Surtain, I mean, he's known to like lock down his entire side of the field. But unfortunately, opposite him, they have a guy by the name of Riley Moss. I'm sure you guys may be familiar with Riley Moss from last year's playoff game. Keon Coleman gave him the business just a little, just a tad bit. So that I mean, we only have three receivers. I think we'll have four. I think Curtis is guaranteed coming back the way he was talking and playing full in all the practices, although they were walkthroughs. Just being full in all the practices and the way that he kind of talked in his interview seems like Curtis is going to be back with us. So seems like we'll have four receivers, but they do have a weak spot in that secondary. As I mentioned, the D line is very good, but not very huge, and so I think the Bills can wear them down with a committed run game. Maybe get sixth offensive lineman in there, Alec Anderson, or maybe Jackson Halls, and continue to do it that way. Maybe both of them. Broncos gave up 34 to Jacksonville a couple weeks ago. I think that was 2-3 weeks ago. Trevor tore them up. I mean, they're great on defense, but I'd say they're not Houston's level. And honestly, I don't think they're as good as Jacksonville. I know Surtain is absolutely great, and they did get home a lot. Get home a lot in the regular season. I think they had like 11 more sacks than the closest team or something like that. But I do trust our offensive line. I do see that we're chipping a little bit more, getting people to help out in the pass block game. So I think that's good for us. And I think Joe Brady will have some things to attack their aggressiveness as far as their pass rush. But ultimately, I think we should definitely lean into the run game. It'll be 1,000% more successful than it was last week against the number one rushing defense because, let's be honest, you can't get better than the number one rushing defense, even if you're playing the number two rushing defense. And as I said, I think that's not telling the full story there. Run game success opens up play action and the rhythm in the passing game. I mean, just obviously having being a little bit light in wide receivers, but we're used to not having wide receivers, and we're used to the play action pass opening up the play action pass game. I mean, we've hit that Dawson Knox over the middle crosser route off play action like so many times. It's like I don't know. I hope nobody baits Josh Allen into that. He's a pretty good quarterback as far as it comes to taking care of the ball in the playoffs. So I'm not too worried about that. But we have been hitting that play action to the tight end on a crosser very often, and very often on first downs as well. So Josh, be on the lookout for a linebacker acting like he's coming for the run and just staying there, bouncing back and seeing that and getting in that lane and trying to pick it off. But yeah, Curtis practiced fully, as I said. I expect him to play. Ty Johnson is unknown at the moment. I'm recording this pod right now. It's like 2:10 p.m. and everything comes out at 4 p.m., which I don't like. I don't understand how if tomorrow we were playing at 8:30, we'd be able to announce who was playing at 4 tomorrow, but we play at 4 tomorrow, so we have to announce everything at 4 today, 24 hours prior. I mean, like, that's crazy, especially on a short week with the team that's rested. Like, don't even get me started. But Ed Oliver is also TBD. I hope we get him. I'll know in 2 hours, and I mean, I'll be ecstatic if he plays. I don't want him to get re-injured if we lose. Like if we win and then he gets re-injured, it's like, dang, he could have waited a week. But then it's like if we like, hindsight's 2020. I guess we'll see. We'll see in a couple hours here. But with that being said, talking about Ed Oliver, let's get into the Bills defense versus the Broncos offense. So the Bills have the number one pass defense, as I'm sure you've heard Tony Romo and the guys always yapping about it in the commentating. 156 passing yards a game allowed. Run defense inconsistent but improving. Broncos 10th total offense, 11th passing offense, and 16th rushing offense. So the Bills are obviously weakest in our run defense, but Denver isn't overwhelming. I mean, they have Harvey. He's a pretty good running back, but he's a rookie, and I don't, their rushing attack doesn't scare me. And I know that's something to say because I mean the Bills have, I mean, who's that we were playing? The Bucks, and they had like their third string running back just had like 200 yards or something crazy on us. So I mean, you don't necessarily have to have an amazing rushing attack to rush on the Bills, but this is playoff football. Like we're not gonna let you just run the ball and beat us. You may run the ball, but this is a bend don't break kind of defense who confuses the quarterback on pass downs and does all of that. So with that being said, let's get into their quarterback, Bo Nix. 25 touchdowns this year, 11 interceptions, 87.8 passer rating, and a 58 QBR. I think that's like 15th or something like that. So middle of the pack. Bo Nix has been okay. He's had two great games this year. Dallas early in the season and Green Bay late. Micah Parsons got hurt, I think, in the third quarter of that game. And Bo Nix seems like a fourth quarter quarterback. So I don't remember that game too vividly, but I'm thinking Bo Nix turned up after Micah Parsons left the game. I could be wrong about that. And we obviously don't have a Micah Parsons, but we are the number one pass defense, and we are known for confusing quarterbacks. I mean, just last week, Liam Cohen pointed out that pre and post snap, Sean McDermott was messing with the quarterback's eyes and changing the look pre and post snap to different coverages, man in the zone or different zone to different zone, fire zone. Like just really playing with Trevor Lawrence and messing up his mind post snap, so he had to hold the ball and make decisions that necessarily weren't the right decision. And so I believe if Trevor Lawrence was high, he was probably like the second best quarterback in the league the past 7 weeks of the regular season. Whether you want to say it was him or Matt Stafford, and the Buffalo Bills had him confused. And Bo Nix is someone who's been up and down all season, and like I just think that he's also going to be very, very confused. And I mean, Sean Payton is an excellent play caller. He's had extra week to prepare. He didn't know he was playing Buffalo. Maybe he assumed whatever, but he didn't know he was playing Buffalo. But he did have an extra week to scheme up some stuff. So he's probably gonna come out creative. Maybe even a fake punt, hook and ladder. Some crazy stuff that we may not expect, and we have to be ready for that. I mean, Sean Payton is known for being a good offensive guy, so we have to be ready for that. But again, his quarterback is a second year player and his second playoff start. Last year we beat them 31-7. This is a completely different team. They're better. We're at their place in the altitude. I believe Jerry Ostrowski, one of the Bills' former linemen, who helps out on Locked On Bills, I think he said altitude is fake. So I mean, I don't know about that, but maybe it is. I haven't done my research on the altitude, but everyone's saying we're going up to Denver, playing in the altitude on short week when they get rest and all that. So it's gonna be a tough one. But with all that being said, I will be taking the Bills. We're battle tested. Tougher schedule in my opinion, more playoff ready team. Matchup wise, they're actually a better matchup for me personally than Jacksonville was. And if Ed Oliver returns and he's at least like 80% of himself, I mean that's gonna be huge, especially affecting Bo Nix because we've been basically playing Daquan Jones and rookies or guys who wouldn't otherwise be on rosters at defensive tackle. So having a guy like Ed Oliver and his impact, especially with a guy like Deion Walker who's flashing, or with a veteran like Daquan Jones who's still hustling and affecting the game, I mean that'll be just huge for Buffalo. And I mean that'll only really double down on my prediction of picking the Bills. But Josh Allen is also locked in right now, one of the best statistically playoff quarterbacks in history. Pat Surtain could get him. Hufanga could get him. I'm not gonna sleep on this defense, but Josh Allen seems locked in. Last game, as I mentioned, he looked like Tom Brady. I mean, he had that look in his eyes. Even with the injuries at wide receiver, I think we can. Excuse me. I think we can establish our rushing game. Shakir and Coleman, and also Brandon Cooks, who's really been flashing for us. Also, the defense should confuse Bo Nix, force 1 to 2 mistakes, as I said. I mean, we don't necessarily have to get a pick. Turnover on downs would be great. Just even a forced punt would be great with the way Josh Allen's moving the ball and playing. So, but I do think we can maybe get a turnover or two, and then that really changes the game. But even if we don't, I still have us taking this game. I don't think we're gonna turn the ball over crazily. I think Ray Davis. I think that was a vulnerable moment for Ray Davis, dropping that fumble on the kick return. I think he won't do that. I think James Cook has learned from his fumble issues. I think Josh Allen's playing locked in. So I think as far as the turnovers, I think we may be good. We're a very disciplined team. Sean McDermott has a well-coached team. He coaches his team pretty well. So I think in that aspect, we'd like to see a little bit better as far as the flags. I mean, we did have some flags against Jacksonville, but overall, I think the Bills will win 28-17 to the Broncos. The Broncos may get to 20, maybe 28-20, but ultimately, Bills run game plus Josh Allen. I mean, I think it's just a recipe for us getting to that AFC Championship game and hopefully further. With that being said, if you made it to the end of the pod, thank you so much. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and go Bills.